Hey, hello, hi, and welcome to the channel again. I'm back here at the bus. It's a new day. I know I'm wearing the same sweater, but it's a new day. Today, you're going to get to see a little bit of work on the bus. I guess I'll just start with explaining what I'm planning to do here. So we've got these wall panels. You can see a bunch back there. They're on the outside. That's like the cockpit. I showed you that in the last video. And they're installed temporarily, but I've got a problem with them, and they have to come out anyways, because we're going to stain them. So I have to solve this problem, and then I might just pull them out after the problem is solved. I'll explain that when we get to it. So I've got that on the list, and I've got this foam board here. This is more insulation for the second layer, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. I don't have a lot of time. It's supposed to start snowing in the next 4 hours or so, and I rode my bike here, so I'd rather not ride home in the snow. So we're just going to get right to it. I'll show you guys this problem I'm having with the wood, and I'll tell you guys exactly how I'm going to fix it, and then you'll see me do it. So here we are. This is the cockpit. I was just sitting right there, and as you can see, it's installed. It looks pretty nice. The only problem is, so we're going to stain it to be that color down there, and I really like the color, but everything I've read said to drill any holes before you stain it so the stain can penetrate and, you know, get everything, all the edges, and, you know, make your cuts before you stain it so everything looks even. So we did a test one down there. That looks great. Now my problem is, we've installed it, it's tongue and groove. We're trying to conceal the screws, so you can see up here at the top. That's where I put the screw. Now, that's all fine and dandy. You can kind of see under, oh, come on, focus. Now, it's not super visible until you get over here. And there's going to be a door jamb here, but you can see I've got some warping, and I want to bring that closer so it's, you know, so it's all flush. So, you know, initially I thought, well, I'll just put the screws on the tongue, you won't even know. But now I'm like, well, this is the front. I want to make sure this is secure and sealed, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to make a door jamb look nice when some of these boards, and I mean, you can see some of them are really warped, like that one. Look at that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill some holes, and we're going to just put a screw in the end here to suck it down to the wood, because yeah, it's not staying on its own. Now this problem, we're having this problem because, number one, these boards are slightly warped. Not too bad, but the other problem is this wall is not 100% square. It is square, but the lumber itself is just slightly warped. And I can show you what I mean here. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you here. So the wall this way is flush. So if I push on both corners here, it doesn't wobble. It's not pivoting at any point throughout the stud. Now if I do it here, I don't know if you can see that. Let's bring it a little closer. So if I, come on now. That little bit of play. It's enough. The wall is, for the most part, pointed straight up. The problem is, it's wavy. It's doing this a little bit, like going up. And I think that combined with the warpage of these boards that I bought is just creating this horrible gap here. So let's get to work on fixing it. So I'm using these screws here. I don't know what size they are, like 1.5 inches. And what's important is that it's not perfect, but what you want, and I've been learning about woodworking a lot, is when the screw goes through the material, you want it to pull into whatever you're grabbing, but you don't want the threads, you don't want these threads to shred through the material you're trying to pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill a hole in the wood up here, and then we'll put the screw through it, and because the thread ends here, it shouldn't do too much damage to the wood itself, and it should just pull it through. That's why you have this smooth part of the screw. It's to prevent the threads from pulling on the material you're trying to adhere to something. So these screws are okay. They're a little ugly, but you know, it is what it is. I might end up getting new screws, but for now, I'm just going to pre-drill the holes, get them sucked down, make sure I don't break anything, hopefully. All right, so let's go. All right. Okay. So I guess I'll just go down every single one and just bring them all as tight as I can. Some of them are pretty tight. Like, let's see, can you guys see this one? Like this one, there's no play at all. But I have a feeling as I go down, they'll start to bow out. We'll see. I've got to be super careful here because I'm standing in the entrance. There's a staircase that I could just like fall into. Okay, that was easy. So, you can see the problem has pretty much been fixed. Woohoo! So, as you can see, there's a second layer here. We got 3 inches of insulation, and then there's an 1.5 inches of insulation here, and in some places it's going to have to stay that way, like anywhere that there's a lot of wiring or plumbing. And we still have to do the plumbing. So I know where the plumbing's going, so I'm going to avoid the area. Basically, it's going to run, let's see, from here up into the wall there, and then out from the water heater, across. This is a shower, so it'll be going up this way for the shower head. It'll keep going across, and then it stops here where the sink is. So you can see we've got all of the second layer of insulation already in here up to this point. So pretty much like this area is off limits for insulation right now. But everything else I can insulate. So like there's a spot here, there's wires I've got running through here. So what I'll do is I'll cut pieces to the size to go around the wires. I'll leave a gap for the wires to live, so that way they're not touching the insulation. But yeah, I've got still quite a bit of this to do. Becky has helped me tremendously with the insulation. I could not have done it without her. And honestly, she did a lot of this all by herself. I am ecstatic about it. It looks great. She did a good job. But yeah, there's still a few spots. Like I could do a spot here. This one's filled. That one's filled. You know, I just have to work around the wiring. So I could probably put a panel here. I just have to stop at the wire and not, you know, give this room. But some of it, there are some panels where I just can't. Like this one. This one's so close to the power closet, I might get away with putting just like a square here. You know, the more insulation, the better. But like this one, I probably won't worry about. There's just too much wiring going on. This one, I could maybe do. This one, I can definitely do, etc., etc. So, I'm gonna get to work. Okay, well, before I get into time-lapse mode here, I'm just going to show you the process of cutting the foam board. It's really simple. If you ever have to cut foam board, it's almost always the same process. I've used this polystyrene, I've used the regular foam board. It all pretty much cuts the same. Okay, so starting back here in the bedroom, we're going to determine the size of the board. So if I'm going to put the board here, I want to avoid this wire, so I just need to measure the just what I need size-wise. So I've got about 13 inches tall, and so I'm going to bring this over, keep it at 13, and just wait till I bunk into that, maybe give it a little more room. So 13 inches tall by 19 and a quarter. So 13 by 19 and a quarter is the dimension of the board. So I just kind of remembered that, keep a mental note. There's a million of them, so it's just easier to just remember. So now we're gonna come over here and cut the board. Okay, so first, get yourself a razor blade. Take your foam board. These are pre-cut because I couldn't fit them in my car and I couldn't put them on top of my car, so they're cut up a little bit already. But I need a 13 by 19 and a quarter. So I guess we'll start by cutting a 13-inch wide piece. So I'll just measure 13, give it a mark, and measure again. 13, give it a mark, and then take your straight edge, line up both, kind of like cutting a piece of lumber, except I don't need to draw a line. I'm just going to leave that there, and we're going to use the straight edge as a fence to drive our razor blade. Now, it doesn't matter how deep you go. I've noticed that if you keep it kind of shallow as you cut, it will cut smoother. This stuff really binds to the blades easily unless you have a really sharp blade. So, just make your cut along your line. And then, this is the fun part. Hooray! Explosion of foam. My favorite. I seriously do think that styrofoam is one of the worst materials to work with. The reason we chose it is because it was a lot cheaper than the other options, and it has the same, or close to the same, insulative value. But it really sucks. If you're doing your own Skoolie conversion or insulating anything, I'll just have to say I regret choosing polystyrene or styrofoam just because of the mess and just because it's just horrible to work with. It just explodes, you know, it breaks, it shatters, you get all these little pieces, it's annoying to clean up. But here I am. So we'll cut the other side here. So now I've got the 13-inch piece. Let's just double check and verify. 13, 13, and the other part was 19 1/4. So we're going to do the same thing. Make a mark at 19 1/4. And make a mark at 19 1/4. And we'll use another straight edge here. I'm going to use the smaller one. There's our piece. So the next step in our process is adhering the board to whatever surface it's going on. There's a lot of different glues out there. A lot of them work really well. I've been using this Liquid Nails heavy duty extreme temperature stuff. I also used another tube of a different kind of, I don't remember exactly what it was called. That other stuff worked better than this. The biggest thing you have to worry about when working with this foam board is if you're gluing it in, you have to make sure that the caulking that you use will not react with the styrofoam or the foam. Make sure it's a safe caulking to use on foam board. So I just read on the back here, and it says, for use on plywood, board, blah, blah, blah. Just look for foam board in that list. If it's not in there, then it's probably not safe to use. It will melt your foam board. Anyway, so we're just going to apply a decent amount here. You do these, whoa, you do these wavy things so you get as much surface area as possible. And now we've got that applied. Now that we've got the glue applied, it's time to put it up. So grab our nifty glued piece here. And since it's already got the glue on, we can just slide it in. I suggest there's a factory edge on these, and it's much nicer than the cut, bubbly foam edge. So I try and leave that to be the edge that's exposed, just so it doesn't go, you know, flaking around. In this case, I have to have one exposed, so we'll just do it like this. It's as easy as that. Okay, so that's the process. Now I'm going to turn on the time lapse and get a bunch of this done. Turn on some music, so. Okay, so I ran out of caulking, and I don't have my car, so I can't go get any more right now. It is starting to look a bit scary outside, so I guess it's a good time to stop. I don't feel like I was here for very long, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So let me just show you guys what I got accomplished here. So I got a piece here. I did not fill this gap because there's a wire there. I'll have to do that at a later date and just cut it a little shorter. But I also got that one, that one, that one, and part of that one, and then I ran out of caulking. Glad I didn't do the whole thing. Also did that piece that you saw, a piece down there, and yeah, so, alright, so got a little bit accomplished today. Not too much, but I can't complain. I got something done. Every step forward is a good step, so I just figured before I end this video, I just wanted to wrap it up by saying thanks to the 7 or 8 subscribers so far. And if you are watching this, thank you so much for your support. And also, I want to give you a little bit of what's to come. So in the next week or so, I'm going to get the elbows for the plumbing, and also hopefully get more caulking. We can wrap up this insulation thing. I'm sure you've seen, but there's some spray foam in between some cracks of the first layer, and I want to do that with the second layer as well. We got to finish the insulation first. So yeah, so the next step is to finish the insulation and get the plumbing in. Now I can't exactly finish all of the insulation until all of the plumbing is in, so that's like priority number 1. I believe the elbows come in on Sunday, so a few days from now, and I will be able to show you guys my plumbing process, which has been quite convoluted. So no promise on professionalism when it comes to plumbing. I am still teaching myself, but I think it looks pretty good so far. The PEX is super easy to work with. So yeah, insulation, plumbing, and then after that, there's going to be, we're going to do the wall paneling. We're going to start paneling, like start installing all of the panels everywhere. And with that, it's going to be, we'll be cutting and installing them dry, then we'll be removing them and staining them. So that's exciting. It's going to be a lot of work, but it'll be so worth it to see this house come together and to see all of the new color in the walls. So yeah, I'm super excited and can't wait to show you guys. One more thing before I go, I just need to do a little self-promotion here. Me and my roommate are working on our, oh boy, is it what, 5th, 6th studio album? Our band is called Jubble Departy. It has been a long time coming. In the last couple of years, we've kind of taken a hiatus from it, but we decided that if this is the last year I'm in Colorado, this is the last year we're together, we need to wrap up some previous projects we've been working on. So look forward to that. I'll definitely post a little bit, like a little teaser here and there on this channel, and I'll be self-promoting the Jubble Departy channel throughout the year. And yeah, so again, thanks for watching. Thank you so much. Have a great day.